Hello, my name is Dr. Fred Moss, and I'm here to talk a little bit about the article I wrote last year for the Conference for Global Transformation, or the Journal for the Conference for Global Transformation. The theme of the conference in 2019 was listening for fulfillment, and the article I wrote was called Global Madness: What Must Happen to Unite? It turns out that I am the recipient of the editor's choice, meaning the #1 article as voted by the editors, submitted to the journal in 2019. And it's a great honor. So I want to tell you a little story about how this article got written. I was in a little tiff with my partner. I went into the other room and began to write an article. And I was looking at what starts disagreements and, the us and the them, and where does these arbitrary lines get drawn between who I think I am and who I think those people who are not like me are? Sometimes my girlfriend, or sometimes other kinds of people, or people from different ways of life, or something like that. And then I began to really see that maybe the disenfranchised, those who we think we disenfranchise, might have access to a life that is enviable. So I wrote a little bit about that. And then I began to write a little bit more about the whole theme about how we're wired for us and them, and what would it take to actually bring us as a group of 7.7 billion human beings together so that we no longer were dealing with all the discriminating differences between each other. I'm going to save what I came up with that for you when you read the article that I'm presenting here, called Global Madness: What Must Happen to Unite? So I submitted the article, and I was told a couple months before that it had been chosen as one of the 3 articles that were given consideration as being the most impactful. And I led a breakout session with the other 2 wonderful authors that also wrote articles in that area. And as the conference came to a close, in the closing session, I learned that they were going to now give an award for the #1 article. And I was sitting about 4 sections back, and this was in the Lowe's Hotel, where they actually give away the Academy Awards each year. And from the front of the room, sort of this fantasy unfolded as they began to talk about how they do this each year. And last year's recipient took the microphone. And when she did, and after she gave some introduction, she said something like, and the winner this year is Dr. Fred Moss for Global Madness: What Must Happen to Unite? And I was just flabbergasted. I mean, really just floored. I took this walk that seemed like it took weeks to get up to the stage, and then looked out over my friends, my people, the people in this conference, which brings together more than 1,000 people who are up to really making a difference in the world. I mean, fully committed to making a difference in the world in multiple different arenas, in multiple different directions. And I was able to make my declaration very clear to those people. Now, some of them knew a bit of my declaration, but in this case, I was actually able to state out loud that who I am is someone who's committed to altering or transforming the conversation of mental illness as a functional entity on a global scale. And then I was able to give my promise that each and every person will know that their voice can be heard, and that who they are and what they do matters. And as I looked out over the crowd, I was just so humbled. And, an award like that maybe only happens once in a lifetime, but it was, for me, one of the highest points in my life. So I now present you that article, and I hope that you enjoy it. Please read Global Madness: What Must Happen to Unite? Thank you.